Global warming has had its effects worldwide. One of the biggest ones to date is the melting of glaciers. When they become weak, glaciers break off into the oceans or lakes where they reside, and today, we will be looking at these amazing moments when they were caught on camera. Let us begin right away. 1. Marjorie Glacier is a 34-kilometer-long tidewater glacier located inside the confines of Glacier Bay National Park and Preserve in Alaska, United States. The glacier starts on the southern slopes of Mount Root, which is located at an elevation of 3,920 meters on the boundary between Alaska and Canada. It flows southeast through the valley before turning to the northeast and coming to an end at Tar Inlet. Back in 2018, this videographer caught the glacier breaking off into the water in the form of small avalanches that rushed down the glacier's side, which dates back to 4,000 years, finally turns back into the water it once used to be. 2. The sea outlet of Surmek-Kujalek, one of the few glaciers through which the Greenland ice cap enters the sea, is found in Greenland's Ilulissat Ice Fjord, which is situated on the west coast of the country, 250 kilometers north of the Arctic Circle. One of the world's quickest and most active glaciers is Surmek-Kujalek. A small group of visitors from Albatross had a special encounter on Monday, July 7, 2014 at noon. On a stroll near the Ilulissat Ice Fjord's mouth, they came upon a huge iceberg that had broken over and was rolling about. They were fortunate to get a video of the event. More than any other glacier outside of Antarctica, it produces approximately 35 kilometers cubed of ice each year, or 10% of all the calf ice produced in Greenland. It has been researched for more than 250 years and has aided in the development of our knowledge of ice cap glaciology and climate change. A massive ice sheet combined with the dramatic sounds of glacial ice stream calving into an ice-filled fjord creates a stunning and mesmerizing natural event. 3. Visitors to Los Glaciares National Park in Argentina may anticipate the Perito Moreno Glacier arch to collapse, much like a semi-reliable clockwork. The enormous blue and white ice arch thunderously crashes into the glacial Lake Argentino below every 2 to 4 years. Tourists go to the national park, which is in Patagonia, southwest Argentina, around the middle of March to witness the sight. In front of tens of thousands of tourists in 2016, Perito Moreno put on a more spectacular performance. Then, it fell during the day, and the collapse was documented on video. 4. Ilulissat Ice Fjord has had a more terrifying event before the one in 2014, in the year 2002. During their visit, these tourists, which were at a safe enough distance, got to capture something that mesmerizes even the most experienced glaciologists. The whole island made of ice can be seen moving slowly and back and gradually flipping over. The result of this titanic movement led to the water being displaced underneath it, giving birth to waves of tsunami proportions. As the waves head on to the cameraman, the mountain of ice begins to rock back and forth as if it were a piece of foam in water that is struck. As it continues to rock back and forth, the water also begins moving faster and higher. Making its way to nearby residents, the waves quickly disperse as they hit solid land. 5. At the southernmost point of South America's mainland, there is a sizable glacier called Viedma Glacier that is a component of the enormous southern Patagonian ice field. The western end of Lake Viedma, which is predominantly fueled by the melting ice of the Valley Glacier Viedma Glacier, is where its moraine-rich terminal flows. The southern Patagonian ice field has an extent of 13,000 square kilometers, and Viedma Glacier is one of its 48 outlet glaciers, each of which has an ice field size of more than 20 square kilometers. In 2014, the entire glacier side met its end and collapsed into the lake, sending waves of water flying everywhere. These onlookers captured the moments of a lifetime. 6. In Alaska's Kenai Peninsula borough sits the glacier known as the Alik Glacier. Alik Bay receives its drainage. It drains the Harding ice field together with several other glaciers, all of which are a part of Kenai Fjords National Park. The largest glacier in Alik Bay, which is part of Kenai Fjords National Park, is Alik Glacier, which is a little more than 15 miles from seaward. The glacier calved most often in May and June, although being generally stable. We can see in this breathtaking video as the glacier slowly starts to separate into pieces. Be aware that this perspective is quite deceptive. In actuality, the glacier is 851 meters high. This is 11 meters taller than the Burj Khalifa, the highest skyscraper on Earth. 7. In southeast Alaska, the Columbia Glacier flows from an ice field 3,050 meters above sea level down the Chugach Mountain slopes and into a confined strait that opens into Prince William Sound. One of the glaciers in the world that changes the most quickly is this one. A massive tidewater glacier that empties into the ocean is called the Columbia. Its snout, or terminal, reached south to the northern border of Heather Island when it was originally discovered by British explorers in 1794, close to the mouth of Columbia Bay. The glacier remained there until 1980, when it started a rapid retreat that is still going on today. The terminus moved more than 20 kilometers to the north during the 1980s, passing via Tarantiev Lake and Great Nunatak Peak. The rate has varied, but in some years the endpoint has retreated more than a kilometer. Through iceberg calving, the retreat of the Columbia Glacier primarily contributes to the worldwide rise in sea level. Nearly half of the ice loss in the Chugach Mountains is due to this one glacier. The loss of ice is not only related to rising air and sea temperatures, though. Although mechanical mechanisms aided in Columbia's breakup, climate change may have first propelled it off the moraine. 8. Outside of Antarctica and Greenland, the Svalbard glaciers account for 6% of the world's total glacier area, and several of them have been rapidly melting since the 1980s as a result of global warming. Once fully melted, it is predicted that they might raise the sea level by 1.7 centimeters. In Svalbard, Norway, a polar bear mother and her baby are playing in the snow directly in front of a massive iceberg that is breaking off a melting glacier. This is only a reminder that animals are also being harmed as a result. 9. One of Iceland's natural crown jewels is Jökulsárlón, and the neighboring Black Beach has been given the nickname Diamond Beach because the ice pieces that are resting on it seem like diamonds when the sun shines. Every year, thousands of tourists go to Jökulsárlón to watch the icebergs flow freely, take boat cruises around the lagoon, and take photographs of the seals. The deepest lake in Iceland is Jökulsárlón, which has a maximum depth of 248 meters. Since the early 1970s, this glacial lagoon in Iceland has grown by a factor of 4. The surface area of Jökulsárlón is 11.2 square miles. The lagoon, which was naturally created by melting glacial water, is still expanding as more and more glacial ice chunks break off. With a significant retreating year after year, Jökulsárlón, which is growing in size, is a visible example of how global warming is having an impact on glaciers. Because of this, each time you visit the lagoon and the neighboring glacier tongue, they will have a distinctive appearance. Here, you may observe the glacier's face-changing process in action. 10. This film, which was uploaded to YouTube on December 14, 2012, documents the 2008 calving of the Jakobshavn Glacier, also known as the Ilulissat Glacier in western Greenland. The glacier retreated a full mile over a calving face that was 5 kilometers broad throughout the course of the 75-minute calving episode. This video was shot by Adam Lewinter and Jeff Orlowski, and may be seen in the recently released movie Chasing Ice. The northernmost UNESCO World Heritage Site is located in the western Greenland fjord known as Ilulissat Ice Fjord, which is 6 kilometers wide and 55 kilometers long. The fjord is made up of icebergs that the Surmek-Kujallik Glacier has calved off one at a time. The variety of icebergs is astounding, and it takes minutes to pass just one of them. With a pace of 40 meters per day, the Surmek-Kujallik Glacier is the fastest and most active glacier in the world. Thank you for watching, everyone. Consider subscribing if you liked what you saw, and smash that like button to support the channel. I hope to see you in the next one.